Hello everyone, my name is Dede and welcome to the first episode of my VOD review series. This is my own VOD that I'm reviewing from start to finish. I'm doing this mainly to hold myself accountable and grow as a player, personally. I've only been playing Valorant for just over a month now, seriously. I played a little bit in the beta, but I only really started in Act 2. However, I have over 2,000 hours in Counter-Strike, where I reached Supreme Mass First Class, so I feel like I have some native experience that can translate over into this game. If you have any comments that you'd like to add regarding this VOD review, I would very much appreciate it if you add a comment or even message me personally. I'll link my Discord and Twitch in the description below. My objectives for this guide are to analyze my gameplay and highlight two things: what I did well and what I did wrong. Hopefully, by doing this, you as a viewer will learn from my mistakes and learn from what I do well, and use this as a way to learn the game without even having to play it.
Yeah, on your left.
Recognizing the mistakes you are making and then finding ways to correct those mistakes is key. I think it's even better if you can analyze someone else's mistakes and learn from them so that you don't have to make a mistake yourself.
Yeah, baby.
Then at the end of the video, I will make a schedule and list all the things I want to be working on over the course of the next week, and then hopefully, by the time that I upload the next episode, I should have worked on those things and you should be able to see an improvement in the gameplay, and I should be able to get another set of mistakes I should correct, and we should see some continuous improvement as I try to climb up the ranks of Valorant. Now before we start, I need to throw in a few disclaimers. I'm not queued with any of the people in this game. This is a solo queue game, so my teammates may vary. There may be some salt, so there may be some flame. My intention for this series is to have a complete warts and all VOD review. I'm not going to shy away from anything. If I do something bad, it's going to be on the screen. I'm not going to edit it out. That's what would be the point in doing that. I'm sure there are many people who have highlight reels of them just absolutely getting a 5k. You're not going to learn from that. So this is going to be my mistakes. Be kind. I am not a perfect player. If I was, then there wouldn't be anything to review. Anyway, now that the intro is over, let's get into the VOD review. I will be playing Sova on Haven. We're starting off on the attack side. I decided to buy a ghost and 2 shot cards. I honestly prefer this. It's a classic in my opinion, is inaccurate at most Jordan ranges and just can't get that one-hit headshot on someone who has no shields. Admittedly, this puts me into a one-shot range from a headshot, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. So I start off here trying to shoot an arrow into A-long, because I feel like on pistol rounds, the guy on A-long is going to push forwards, try to be aggressive, try and get a pick and a bit of information out of us. However, my team have pushed forwards already, so the information that I'd gathered, they'd already have, so it would have been a waste of an arrow. So instead, I used this arrow, which lands on a site. I didn't do the arrow correctly. That's not how the arrow should be done. However, it did the job roughly enough to tell me that there wasn't anyone on a site. Now my team decided to withdraw from the A-bomb site, and I decided to follow them because pistol rounds really rely heavily on the numbers advantage. Now I decided to check middle doors here, because if the enemy team are aware of a rotate, they might push through there, because they want to either get a pick or they want to get valuable information on where we may go. So I'm holding this to stop them from peeking out, and if they do, hopefully I should be able to get a kill and punish them for getting that information. Now, we decide to push up C long. The Omen throws his smoke down, which blocks off the left-hand side of C, roughly where default was planted. One thing I could have done better here, and it's mainly because I was in a rush, is that I did not check the common angles correctly. I opened myself up to the whole bomb site, which is very dangerous. I should have checked each angle before entering, and as such, the Omen gets a free shot on me before I can enter, or even react. Luckily he doesn't kill me, but I gave him the opportunity to, which could have been disastrous for the round. From here we know that Raze pushes garage or double doors, and we know that Omen is the only player on this site currently, but I have the bomb and my objective is to get the bomb down, so I risk going into the smoke and plant the bomb overlooking long, and I'm now going to hold the bomb from long for the sake of running the timer down. So whilst I'm in this position, we see where all the enemies are. One of us gets a pick on the Phoenix. We know where the last 2 players are, and we know what their options could be. They'll either go through CT, through to C, through garage, through to C, or go all the way around. But we know that they go through garage, we see Reyna on site, and we wait for her to defuse the bomb. So now it's a 1v1, however I am advantage over the Reyna because I have this long angle, I have time on my side, and I can win without really doing too much. My general idea is to just run the bomb down and wait for her to defuse. The downsides are, the Reyna knows where I am, she knows I'm going to be holding it on long, so she's probably going to try and do a defuse to bait me out. Reyna attempts to defuse, I peek out, and get a double headshot moving around. This was risky, as you can see, I didn't confidently win the gunfight. I may have got her 2 headshots, but I didn't confidently win it. What I could have done is I could have shot at her, peeked back around the corner and used my arrows and forced her to either push me or go for another defuse. Woman should be more vulnerable. Maybe I could have just played more time. Now I start round 2 by buying shields and remaining abilities. This is because I just want to save up enough money to upgrade on round 3 to either buy an operator or a phantom and vandal. Also, it's highly likely that the enemies are one-tap headshots because they're probably not going to buy anything. If I bought a phantom or a vandal and I gave it to the enemies, I'd be throwing the round, but because I've got a ghost, it isn't that important. The enemies are on eco after losing, therefore they could be aggressive to try and get a quick pick and just take a weapon of us. This is why I'm trying to use a sonar to try and peek A long quickly to tell if they are going to be aggressive and push out onto us. Now the area was destroyed, but that doesn't mean that the person was on long. It does mean that I need to be careful if I'm going to go through that area. I decided that as I had the bomb, it would be foolish for me to charge down A long by myself and lose it, so I regrouped with my team as they tried to enter B. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I think that trying to enter B on an eco round is a bad move. If they're eco, they're going to have sheriff's shotguns and whatever. They're going to be playing closed off angles, really dodgy angles, 50-50 angles. Like, when you enter B, they can either be on the left hand side or the right hand side, and it's a 50-50. If you pick the right angle, then yeah, you're probably going to win the gunfight. But all it takes is for you to lose one of those 50-50s. They suddenly get a gun. They suddenly have the power to steamroll us, and we lose our advantage. Furthermore, we're entering this bomb site without any real information. No one knows where anyone is. My drone has not been used to get up there, and I won't be able to use it before the jet pushes in. Thankfully, everyone on my team wins their jobs. We get the bomb down and start holding the site, and I start to look behind the flanks, as right now I don't know where the enemy Omen is. No one on my team seems to have seen him, so I think he could be flanking. Alright, so now I'm full buy. I have all my abilities, I have my shields, and I have a phantom with a ghost. What I want to do from here is I want to play slowly. I want to slowly work out the enemy's utility and abilities. I want to be able to sort of shift where the enemies are. If we make a bunch of noise on A, I throw an arrow on A, for example, that should hopefully shift some players from C or B. If they get pressured on A, C and B players should be able to rotate, and that's how we create space and openings for us to do an execution. And when the enemy team over-rotates to a certain area, it means that we should be able to attack a certain bomb site with a bit more ease, and we should be able to get on the bomb site and start defending it. Now this arrow tells me if anyone is playing on the backside of C, and also tells me if there's anyone in the corner. This is where operators tend to go. My intention for this arrow is just to see how many people are playing on C and where they're playing on C. And also to try and give away a bit of information to the enemy, saying like, oh, we might be going to C, perhaps. And forcing people from A or B to sort of shift over a little bit. Here we see that Raze and Reyna are trying to push on to B. This has caught me off guard, to be honest. The Raze is really far pushed up, and she's starting to push in by herself. She is pushed really hard onto B site. She gets one kill, but unfortunately she dies. And so does the Jet and Reyna. It's here where I should mention that I was just sort of sneak walking from C to B. There was no point for me to sneak walk there. I could have easily pushed through, maybe caught up in my team, and perhaps got a trade kill. So here I'm thinking that they just got kills on mid. They know there's only 2 of us, they might push us really hard down here. So I'm trying to hold this, just waiting to see if someone's going to flank. Now, my teammates are telling me that there's a guy on the right-hand side, and they very well might have been, but unfortunately, it's a bad call. The guy's on the left. It's important to continue to trust your teammates, even if they give you bad information every now and then, because most of the time, they're going to give good information. You've just got to give them the benefit of the doubt that perhaps there was someone on the right-hand side, and now they've moved. So, hey, it happens. I just want to replay this because I want to mention that I had my drone and I could have potentially used it, but it probably would still led to the same effect. Just instead, I would have died whilst using my drone from someone from mid. Now, in terms of economy, neither team is hurting for money. We can both buy here, but that makes this round super important because the losing team will have to eco. This is not a round that you can afford to lose. This basically acts as like a 2-for-1 round. If we win this round, chances are we're going to win the next round. I can tell from the way my team is positioned that they're going to be trying to enter B or peeking middle. What I should have done here is I should have got into a position to use my arrow to give them information. However, because they've rushed it, I don't think it would have helped them out so much. But I could have definitely fired an arrow onto the site. What I'm doing here is I'm watching for the flank, because we've got so many people pushing forwards onto B's site that I don't particularly need to look onto the B site with them. All I need to do is make sure that they're not getting shot in the back. Now I've got myself into a very bad position here. What I've done is I've put myself on this left-hand side of the window, and this is bad because I don't have anywhere to go from here. My options are to push out of the window, and that would get me seen by anyone on B's site. And also, this wall next to me is completely wallbangable. Like, I can get shot through that. Also, when I peek out, I'll be committed to the gunfight that follows. I will have to follow that gunfight out until it finishes. I won't be able to unpeek. And as we can see, I'm forced into this gunfight with the breach. Perhaps if he was the breach on his own, I would have been fine, but the Omen eventually gets the trade kill. Now, I won't lie to you, I personally think that if this jet had peeked with me and had challenged that breach, maybe we both would be alive, but I feel like she was baiting me a little bit, and unfortunately she goes down instantly to the pushing Reyna.
If you're not a good shot today,
and to now we're eco.
There are other ways.
On eco rounds, I like to buy a sheriff and heavy shields. This is depending on how much money I have for the next round. I always try and save enough money to have a full buy the round after an eco. Playing eco rounds, you really want to try and get the trade kills. You really want to push these angles hard and fast so that you can get a gun and maybe swing the power into your favor. Because right now, we are outclassed in weapons. So that's why we're going to push down the garage here. Now that we've successfully taken garage, we are free to push around CT through to C, and also push onto C site. This gives us a nice strong position to get the bomb down. I've planted for long, and I'm going to try and hold from long using my ultimate. Unfortunately, my teammates have died now on site, so we know that they're entering site. Reyna goes down. I know that I'm in a position right now where they're all going to get funneled into me, so I'm just going to try and use my ultimate to get them to defuse them. And although it hasn't worked, I feel like it was a timing issue. I reckon if I did it earlier, it would have worked, but if I peeked around that corner, I'd have had to take on 3 guys with a sheriff. And I just don't really fancy my chances with that. I feel like I made the right decision there. It just, unfortunately, didn't pay out. Now, my team has started flaming me. I think the right decision to make here is to just not react to them. Because this surely did not help. I can tell you that for a fact. Next time someone's tilting at you, flaming at you, just mute them. Because you don't really win anything by arguing back. You just make everyone else's time miserable. Now, unfortunately, one of my team has already died to an operator. In this situation, what you can do, when one of your teammates has already died to an operator, You can choose to leave that site alone and go somewhere else. You can get a smoker to smoke the operator off, or you can grab another teammate and try and get the trade kill. Now, that's not what happened here. Unfortunately, these two, they kind of lined up for it. I don't think they did it on purpose, but they should have made sure that they weren't just going to line up for a collateral for the enemy Omen. And also, my Omen should have smoked it ages ago. Unfortunately, what's happened here is that 3 people have just challenged an operator, and only one of them's used an ability, and that is the Reyna. And that, simply put, is not good enough. If you're going to challenge an operator, you need to use your flashes on it. That you need to use your smokes on it. You can't try and out-aim duel an operator, because you will lose 9 times out of 10. Unless the operator whiffs it, you're going to lose it. So if you're approaching that operator, you either need to peek it, bait out a shot, and then try and fire, or you need to use your abilities, because it's pointless trying to fight them fairly. It doesn't work. So I decided to move away, because after that man gets a free K of an operator, I'm done. That's not happening. That site's untouchable for me. So I'm going to hold this angle here, because they just got a bunch of early kills. I think they're going to get overconfident and try and peek me, and they do. I throw this arrow to try and get more information, see if the operator's rotated anywhere onto mid.
There they are.
No, he's still standing there, so that means that if I go B or garage, hopefully I don't run into an operator. Now here we've just got a pick on the Phoenix and the Raze. That means that's a defender from both A and B that are missing. I reckon that the enemies would have rotated all the way to C, and now we should be free to plant on A or B. Now I actually make the mistake here of trying to stick with my teammate when I know better, because I knew that these last 2 players must have been holding C somewhere. And unfortunately, it gets me killed. If I was going to do that round again, after killing that Reyna, I should have just sprinted to A and just get the bomb down. I think it was actually a mistake to buy in this round. If you look at our economy, we don't really have the money to afford this. So we end up with this sort of ragtag weapon collection, where some people are half-bikes, some people are bulldogs, some are specters. We got a couple of vandals. It doesn't really work. Now, once again, my team just do not care about letting my arrow go first. The Reyna actually gets lucky that the operator doesn't actually kill her. She should have waited for my arrow to go and then push through. But she starts to push through the smoke as well, and she's isolated on site and gets killed. But the Omen manages to pick it up. We get the bomb down, and I immediately move along to hold it.
Right here.
Now I'm jiggling here because if she pushes me, I don't want to get a headshot immediately.
Bro, use your shock dart. It's easy kill. Kill this.
Enemy remaining.
Now I make the mistake here of peeking this time. I should not have done this. I should have waited for the defusal, and then both me and Reyna could have 2v1'd him. This was my bad, and I pretty much lost the round. You may have noticed the Jet telling me to use my shock dart there, but honestly, I don't think that it would have done anything. She was on full HP, and there was no angle for me to accurately hit her. I would have had to just sort of hit it on the floor near her, and by the first shock dart, she would have pushed out and just hit me in the head. Honestly, I don't think that using my shock darts there would have been a great idea. Now, what you're seeing here is that I have entered the tilt zone. And I think this is the point where the game really went out of touch for us. We could have easily won this game. However, when the team starts arguing, when you start being negative, it becomes impossible to win from there. So, the lesson to be learned here is to just be more positive, be a bit more calm. And hopefully, if you do that, your teammates will snap out of their negative attitudes.
Last player standing.
Acha fucking smoke אחי.
Now, there isn't really much to talk about here. I lose that fight to the Reyna because I don't open the angle well enough. She's got advantage on me because she can see me before I can see her. However, I still didn't open up the angle well enough. I didn't slice the pie correctly. Taking it slower, exposing tighter angles, maybe might have saved me, but I completely overshot her, so I died. Now, unfortunately, I find myself in this bad angle again. See, right now, I'm holding this, and this is a completely committal angle, because if someone peeks me, I have to fight them, because I don't have the opportunity to move somewhere else. Now, I should have reacted a lot faster here. I should have seen that Raze was pushing, and I should have moved around and perhaps saved up our friendly Raze's life. Now, I'm the only man left, so I believe that all the players will have rotated onto B. So I run to A, because I think it should be free, and I might be able to get a free bomb plant down. I'm not expecting to win this round, but if I can get some bomb plant money, then I'm happy. Now I'm moving back to long, because I'm 3v1, and I feel like this is the best way to try and funnel them into me, and I have the potential of using my ultimate to help defend the bomb. Unfortunately, this ultimate doesn't actually kill this guy, which probably would have helped me win the round. And I've now backed myself into a corner where they're free to defuse the bomb, and unfortunately they do. I think had my ultimate killed that guy, then it could have been a different story. The Omen wouldn't have had much free time. He wouldn't have been able to defuse the bomb without me putting him under some sort of pressure. However, I don't expect to win a 3v1 on an eco round. Getting the bomb down, getting bomb money, getting our team's economy better, that was the main goal, and I feel like I achieved that.
Let's start this party.
Cover going out.
Still in sight.
Now this arrow that I do here is completely useless. My team are already on the site. What does... Teammate calls heaven, so I'm gonna watch it. I'm using this angle where if they walk into it, I just have to shoot them. Like, I don't have to reposition my crosshair. Now, it might look like I'm baiting my teammates here. However, I know this last man has an operator, and it's gonna sound like I'm definitely terrified of operators, but honestly, you should be. They can just easily win every 1v1, so I don't want to push him, I don't want to lose my gun, I don't want to throw it around, so I'm gonna play this angle that I know if he goes for the defuse, I can peek him rather than him being ready to fire at me as soon as I peek. So I'm just playing this angle, trying to win the round rather than get better kills. And honestly, I feel like far too many people in Valorant value kills over actually winning the round. The main objective is to get the bomb down and let it explode, if you're on attack, that is. Not to just get more kills. Too many people want to buffer their KDA by going for these eco frags or exit frags or whatever. They'll just run at an enemy and try and kill them, rather than thinking, hang on a second, let's just sit and actually win the round. I think one of the things that people can really do to climb very quickly is to just not antagonize your teammates. Now I'm using this arrow to get information on the site again. We know that there's an operator on there, but Omen smoked it thankfully. We know he's on the left hand side, so I'm going to try and use this shock dart to hit them. I think it took me far too long to figure that shock dart out, that it wasn't going to be very effective because By the time I've sent it, they're already cleared off site. By the time it lands, they would have just moved away. And as you can hear from our teammates, we are not a happy attacking team. I think the true downfall of our team was that we weren't communicating with each other. I mean, yes, we were flaming each other, but what I mean is that we weren't giving any information on where anyone was. The Reyna gave some information a few rounds ago, but other than that, I haven't had any actual information from the team. And that's not to say that I was being perfect in giving them information, because honestly, I'm guilty of that too. I didn't adequately give my teammates information, and we really struggled as a result. As Sova, the information gatherer, it's not really acceptable to be off the microphone and not giving information to our teammates. This round is nothing really worth mentioning. We just sort of go on to see and start to clean up from there. So I'd just like to reiterate that if you want to comment on anything, if you have any disagreements with me, that's brilliant. I'd love to see your opinions in the comment section below, or if you want to join my Discord or Twitch and come and talk to me there, that'd be great. I am pretty happy to accept any feedback, to be honest with you. This is my very first YouTube video that I've actually tried to edit myself. You can probably tell because the editing is not great. I won't even shy away from that fact. It's not amazing. Anyway, now we're playing defense as Sova. I'll be honest with you, if you're playing Sova on defense on Haven, you kind of want to be geared more towards C, B, or Garage. A doesn't particularly work very well with Sova. There aren't many arrows that are going to help you if they're going to push short. The only arrow you can sort of do is a arrow on a long that tells you if they're rushing, and that doesn't really give you a lot of information, because you'll fire it, you'll see them all rushing at you, and you'll go, oh god, I'm going to die. So, it's not very useful. However, on B, C, and Garage, he has much better arrows.
Revealing area.
Garage.
Raze is pushing mid, Raze sees one on mid, and Jet has called Garage. After that guy mid goes down, we should be looking at Garage quicker, instead of looking there. Now, I see these two, I call out that Raze is pushing CT.
Wow, in city,
One
bro.
enemy remaining.
City, last one city. Okay.
Last player standing.
Now from here, we know that the Raze is going to be pushing onto C site, so I use a sonar arrow to try and figure out where she is. However, this arrow doesn't reveal her, which means that she must be in this corner. And unfortunately, I get my crosshair placement wrong and she hits me. I just sort of peeked out rather than swinging around. If I swung round, perhaps I would have got her. But unfortunately, I lost the aim drill and we lose the round. Now I choose not to buy after losing the pistol round, because I feel like if we lose this round and if we buy, then we'd have to eco for another round, and then that means we'd lose 3 rounds in a row rather than just lose 2. So as it stands, we lose this round, it's not so much of an issue because we can always just buy the next round. Now, of course, Amico, I don't really want to be challenging them too much. If I hear them, I'm just going to call it out and I'm going to run back. So I hear them, I call it out, I run back for my teammate, and we're going to try and challenge this as a team. The omen smoke happens, we get concussed, flash, the rain pushes in, I miss all my shots. We challenged it as a team, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. But I think that was the right move. There wasn't a lot else you can really do on Nico. So now we're on our first full buy of the defensive half. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to hold my angle on my site. I'm not going to look to push forwards, because if you die early on defensive side, you're just throwing the game. You've got to play as if your life really depends on it. You can't push forwards and get killed easily, otherwise you give up your whole bomb site and then your team has to retake. And that's always a bit of a 50-50. I especially cannot push out here as I'm alone on A. So I'm just going to use my arrow, get some information, and then move back. Jet has called out that they're on C. but because I don't see anyone, I'm not hard rotating yet. I'm sort of just gonna see what happens.
Spike planted.
Now I don't have my arrow entering C, but we know there's gonna be one peeking, so I use my drone to try and get some information. I tagged the Reyna. And now it's a 2v2. I know that this last man should probably be unfortunately I hesitated there because I just didn't expect him to be holding that area. That's a bit of a weird angle that he shouldn't really have been holding, so it kind of confused me a little bit, but either way, I should have just punished him for it. I should have just hit him in the head.
So, bro, you need to use your abilities. They're very important.
Some brilliant advice from Jet. Remember to use your abilities.
No, you don't.
And I think after that cracking bit of advice from Jet, I am going to end this little VOD review. So I'd really like to summarize and just take into account all the things that I really need to learn from this game. And I think some of the main things I need to learn is I need to play more with the team. Quite often I found from this game in particular that I was left out of position, or that my abilities were ineffective and meant my team to work off them. I know that goes both ways. My team sort of needs to incorporate me too. There were many times on attack where I would try and use an arrow or something and it wouldn't even matter because my team had already pushed in to where the arrow would go, and they would kind of face check the site rather than use my arrow. And it also ties into communication. I needed to give more information as Sova. That is what he does, and that's why he is on the team, to give information. So for me to not adequately call out certain things is not good enough. I need to be better at communicating. So in future games, I'm going to try and stick close to the team and just be more vocal. Just tell people more information. I'm talking important stuff like, they're on this site in this area with an operator, they've got these abilities up, they've got this ultimate up. I also noticed that I need to work on checking angles correctly with appropriate crosshair placement. What I can do to do this is I can go into a game, a custom game, and just walk around the map and just say, okay, well there's probably going to be a guy there, let's cut the angle nicely so that I only peek that guy, because too often do I find that I cut open into a bomb site and I'm suddenly staring at 2 or 3 people. If I can limit it so that I'm down to just a series of 1v1s, I will have a lot more success. And this can be done through a technique called slicing the pie. It's where you get towards the corner that you want to peek and you just cut it into tiny little angles, so you're cutting little pie pieces. So you go, okay, I'm going to peek that corner, then that corner, then that corner, and so on. And I know this is such a generic statement and it's such like a boring thing to say, but honestly, just a bit more aim training. I aim to do an hour of aim training every day, trying to work on stuff that I really struggle with, and I can see improvements every day that I'm doing it. So I'm just gonna. I don't want to keep repeating myself every week. If I keep saying, oh, I need to do my aim training, then next week I just go, oh, I need to do my aim training, because that's probably something that's going to take months to years to really hit my peak, and it's probably something that I'll always have to try and improve on. Thank you so much for following this VOD review all the way to the end. I hope that this is informative for you and that you can learn from my mistakes and snap them out of your game too. I will hopefully be making this a regular series as my Valorant climb continues. If this is something that people want to see, then I'll happily make more of it. I mean, I'm personally doing this for me so that I improve as a player. And who knows, maybe in a couple of weeks when I do another review, we might be able to see some growth. Hopefully some of the mistakes I've made in this video, they don't return. But if they do, then I'll have to figure out a way to change what I'm doing so that it doesn't happen again. Please make sure to check out my Twitch channel, like and share this video, and you know, I would really be happy if someone that really knows what they're talking about, or even if you've got a differing opinion to me, That would be brilliant. Please add your own comments and stuff that I can improve on. I am always grateful for feedback. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you climb in Valorant.